Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna show you two ways that we can try to fix this gauge cluster. So what's going right with it? Well, if we look right here, I put the engine on, lights are on. These gauges look pretty good. Check out this oil one though. My oil pressure light is way down. Something is off on it. Now, there's either gonna be a very easy fix. I'm gonna show you how to do it in literally 30 seconds. And then if that does not do it, then what we're gonna have to do is actually take part of this dashboard apart, get into this cluster. The problem is that the solder on the back side of these needs to be redone. The solder is 20 years old. The solder, once they started using less lead in it, it's more brittle, and that means over the years it ends up cracking. And that's why sometimes your gauges like have lights that work and then lights that don't. See how this one flashed on and off? That one right there? That also means that that needs to have the solder redone on the back. For now though, let me show you how to reset your gauges. Yep, we can actually reset them. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn off the truck. I'm gonna get my button right up here. I'm going to take the key out. I'm gonna push in the button, put in the key, turn it twice, and we're gonna see this go into a reset. You ready? All right, key out. Now, because I'm filming, this is gonna be, I'm gonna have to put down the phone for a sec, but let me show you. Okay, so let's push this in. I'm gonna turn the key twice. And now it goes into test. See the test mode down there? Now I let go of this and it's gonna sweep the gauges. It's gonna try to test all the gauges. See the oil one? See how it just clicked in there? So we know it actually moves. That's a good sign. All the gauges sweeping left to right and they're fully resetting. So this may have worked. There's my oil and it actually went up a tiny bit there, which may be a very good sign. Let's turn on the truck. And it looks like it's in a reasonably good spot. That may have fixed it right there. A reasonably good chance. How are we gonna know if it fixed it? Drive it around for another day or two. If we keep having to do this, sweep the gauges and reset it, then we have a bigger problem, and almost for sure, it's gonna be the solder. Let me walk you through the process of how we can take apart the dash, get to the parts that need to be soldered. It's not that bad. Tool-wise, we need a 7mm socket and also a 7/32. A couple of these are pretty nice. I don't know if this is a must-have. And then some kind of a soldering setup. This one right here is kind of an intermediate kit. I've used it for years and years. It works fantastic. I'll put these tools down in the description down below if you want to take a look. I got my 06 F-150. Today's fix will work for 04 through 08 of the F-150 and some other similar Fords. So here's what we have going on. A few things on our cluster are not working. The most pronounced are this light that should be on this screen right here. We've also got our low oil or oil pressure gauge. It's not low, it should be in the middle right now. That hasn't worked in a while. And then over here, we also have our battery that's not quite working right. The good news for me is the gas gauge still works, the tach still works, and the speedometer still work. However, those probably will be the next to break. This is a very common problem. The problem with this is solder and the soldering of these pieces on the back side of the cluster. So in today's video, we're gonna take this, well, part of the dashboard apart. It looks like it's more intricate than it actually is. It's not that bad. It's a matter of a procedure. This should take us roughly a half an hour, and that is including me videoing it. So you can do this at home as long as you have the right tools. The only tool that's kind of out of the ordinary might be soldering. So you'll have to have a little bit of skills in that, really not that much. And then also, obviously, the tool to be able to solder it. All right, let's start down here. I have a couple of 7mm bolts, one right here. I have another one right over here. This piece is just gonna kind of pop out. There you go. You can see these tabs, so it just goes straight out. A little bit of pressure pulling straight out, pops it. Next, we got a couple more 7mm, one here, and one right there. All right, now that we have this bottom part loose, this part here, you're gonna have one tab here, and then I'm gonna show you something ugly. This one was so brittle, this sort of fell apart. These tabs should pull back this way. Boom, boom, boom. So you're gonna kind of pull it back towards you. You're gonna have to replace a little bit of this dash on this one. Unfortunately, it's been sitting in the sun too long. So you'll have to figure out the right thing for yours. But again, you're gonna be pulling back here. You're gonna have another tab right here. It's gonna have to pull back towards us. All right, more 7mm. 1, 2, 3 down there, and 4 over here. Next, we'll take out these wire harnesses. See this gray piece right here? Whoops, where are we at here? Gray piece right here. We need to take that down. That's a little safety clip or holds it in. So here's what we're gonna do. Push down right here, and then this gray piece should go back. I might have to use 2 hands on this. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so pushing down there, and then this piece will just come on back. That, or release that right there. So same thing on this side. Again, here's where we're pushing down. This little tab right here needs to go down, and then I'll pull the gray back. I gotta put the phone down though. Quick, easy, not a big deal, but you gotta know how to do it. And then once you do that, they just pop right up. But we wanna break as few of these parts as possible. We've already got one that we're gonna have to do some hunting and figure out. Okay, now we have our wire harnesses off. We got one more wire that's connected at the bottom, and I'll show you a little trick on how we're gonna get that off. We're gonna gently make just a little bit of room here, just gently. And if we look down here, this is gonna be a little hard with the camera. Let's see what I can do. We're gonna remove, see where that wire is connected? There's a couple little tabs that we can push in and gently take that out. Let me see if I can do this for us. Okay, can you see where my finger's at right here? Just this little tab right here that's gonna get pushed in. There's another one on this side that's gonna get pushed in. Let me see if I can show you again. I pulled it just slightly out so you can see. Look, this tab, you're gonna just gently be pushing this in, and this one in here, both kind of squeezing in towards the middle, carefully, towards the middle, and just gently kind of pulling down, and this little assembly in here is gonna come out. Gently, don't break anything. It's an old truck, yours is old too. So am I. There we go. So this just popped right out. Let's see those clips one more time. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole thing, except for not smashing up the dashboard. So the back side, so looking at the front side here, but this is the clip right here my finger's on, right? You're just gonna kind of gently push that one and this one right here, gently squeezing them in as you're pulling that down. Now, we can take this whole cluster. Let's go take a look. Okay, to take off this protective layer, we need either a star key, like this one right here, or 7 30-second socket. We'll take all these off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next, we're gonna do our soldering. If you look closely here, this is 2 rows of 8, I believe. So a total of 16 little spots that we're gonna solder. For some reason, these are the ones that are more prone to cracking and not, well, anyway, these are the ones that need to be touched up. It's this side, it's also the other side where the other sort of plugs into, where you have, again, another series of 8 or 8 and 8 or 10 and 10, something like that. All right, my friends, so watching some of these other videos, they're letting us know that the solder, especially these ones here, for whatever reason, the solder is not as well made as it used to be, and therefore it starts to crack. Even if you can't see it, when we zoom in, you might be able to see a little bit. We're just gonna barely touch them with a little bit of solder. And I'm actually gonna use my phone as a magnifying glass. I feel like I could barely do this without a magnifying glass. Let's see if we can get this to work. All right, and again, our goal is we don't want to build bridges. We don't want to connect these together, but we do want to just touch them and just put on a little bit of solder. Let's see what we can do. That one went pretty well. Again, I'm just putting a little bit of solder on the tip. Using my phone to help guide me in. There we go, just touching. There's a little stem at the top if you go straight down it. What we're trying to do is hit that little pool of solder right there that's already dried on that. We're just heating it up, letting it cool back down, adding just a touch. Maybe I can show you how I'm just, tip of my solder, just putting a touch on it. All right, let's see if we can do a few in a row here. Okay, you see that solder kind of change in its consistency there. I'm gonna pull up, come back to here. There we go. Again, we're just adding a touch here. I'm doing it now without looking through the phone. I think it's actually a lot easier to do without the phone. Just enough to melt that old solder and just put a little bit of new stuff on it. By remelting the old stuff, that alone is probably going to fix it. But we'll add a little new solder just to be safe. Let's see, I'll start back this way. All right. Okay, we've done all those now. We're going to move over to this other side. So I'm just going to swing us down here. Maybe I'll just show you a little perspective of where we're at here. Okay, so now we'll come over. We're going to do these ones over here. There we go. All right, sound good? Again, you can kind of just see it pool up and then come back down. That's all we need. Just heating up that old solder, adding in a tiny bit. See how it just kind of almost like bubbles up and comes to life. Okay, I finished up the top row on there as well. So both sides, top and bottom, left and right, got them all. Let's test it out, see what we got here. Good news, now that we soldered those all up, I just tested it and I'll show you what I did. I put these back in, and you do have to clamp them all the way down to make sure you connect it correctly. So I just put those in just to test it yet. I haven't hooked anything else up. And then when I turn the key, start it up, and all of the gauges are working, and including, look, that's the light is on. That's good news. We fixed it, my friends. Now, let me tell you one more thing. When I first came back into the truck, the gauges that were not working still were not working. Here's what I had to do. I had to reset the gauges. And I have another video at the end of this video. I'll put it up there, how to sweep the gauges or how to reset the gauges. But I'll also just do a quick little tutorial here. If it's too fast, you can go back and watch my other one. But here's all you have to do. Turn off the truck, take out the key. We're gonna push this button in. We're gonna hold it in. We're gonna turn the key twice. I gotta push down the phone. So we're gonna put in the key and turn it once, twice. Don't start the engine, but just put it in the on. All right, so you kind of turn it twice. When I do that, it's gonna say test mode. Now I can release this and it sweeps the gauges. So all the gauges are gonna go all the way from the left to the right and back. And And that's gonna reset everything for us. Once it's done doing that, give it a minute or so, and then we'll take out the key. Restart the truck. Now it's out of test mode. All the gauges seem to be working. And the light is on. We have fixed it, my friend. The only bad news I have is this was already broken up here, and I went from 5 pieces to 20 pieces. That's a bummer. I'm gonna blame it on the sun, or maybe I'll blame it on me too. But let me show you what I already did. Maybe I need to order a new steering wheel too. Don't forget, this truck's 20 years old. Here's the piece I broke. If I look right there, see this number that starts with, what is it, PN4L? I typed that into Google, found this part for 45 bucks, and it was another 20 to ship it, something like that, $75 or so. Not that I love that it's $75, but it's already on the way. So in a week, I'll have that piece back on there. This is fixed, and that cost us nothing. All right, my friends, let's put this stuff back together. You should be able to do it on your own, but maybe I'll just kind of walk us through to make sure we have it right. Okay, now that we've tested it, let's put it back together for real. So let's put this cover back on here, putting those screws back. All right, that's buttoned up. Next, we're going to, again, gently sliding this up into this little hole here. So the trick is just gently kind of wiggling it in there, and then it'll find its way and snap in. It's gonna be hard to do one-handed though, so let's see what I can do. It's hard to do it with the phone, but it's relatively easy. Just slightly pushing it up into here. All right, let's get these wires connected. If I can do this one-handed, you can do it two-handed. Gently down, gently pulling back on the grate. Let's not break anything else. I know. Make fun of me, I already broke that one part. Again, it was already broken, I just broke it more. I know. All right, let's get this down in there. Gently pulling back. There you go. So pushing down here with medium pressure, and that helps this gray sort of locking device come down into here. And it snaps, you'll know when it's in there good. All right, that is back together. Okay, 4 screws, right back in, just how we took them out. Easy peasy. Now I'll put this dash piece back on just to kind of show us. This is an extra light right here for a light bar that was installed. So these this red connector, you're not gonna have this, so don't worry about that. I'll hook it up for me, you don't worry about it. For yours, again, these clips, let's kind of take note of how these go back in, right? They pulled sort of straight out here, so yours are gonna need to go back in. So it's kind of pop in there, and then these front ones, right, straight in. So this thing is just so sun-beaten, but you can see how those holes are. So again, that's probably the second trickiest part. And boy, did I ever explode it. It was broken before. Knock it off. All right, let's get this in here. Okay, so yours will kind of gently go like this. It'll sort of pop into the top, and these side ones, just like so. I know, mine's a mess. See how that one popped? That's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should all do. Back to that, all right. Coming back underneath. Should have 2 bolts, right? Don't forget those. One here, one on the other side. Now this piece, let's see. Okay, now this piece, that guy is gonna go right into that hole. Where is it? Right there, okay? Pop it right in there. All right, we should have 2 more bolts to go back in. That's gonna go right into there. And then that other one on the other side. All right, it's all back together. Let's double check it. Light is on. All the gauges seem to be working correctly. Fantastic news. Hey friends, if this video helped you out, please hit the thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to see how to sweep the gauges, that should be coming up right now, if it's not up already. And we'll see you next time, my friends. Hope you save some money on that.